Hello folks, and very welcome to Paranormal Tech. I am Philip, and as we said, we deliver to you. We're out on a mission today. We're going to show you guys, so you're all very welcome. What a beautiful day we are in Ireland today. We're going to show you in a few minutes. Before we start our little live broadcast that we're about to do now, I'd like to apologise for everybody from last night. The pains that I got were absolutely severe. I'm only actually getting over an operation, and the operation that I had was a very, very severe one, and I went through it absolutely pains last night, so I couldn't really concentrate on our live stream. So I'd like to apologise in behalf of myself in that, but unfortunately that's the way it is. So in remarkable respect for you guys, for me not delivering to you a live paranormal investigation, I said I'm going to deliver you a story about St. Oliver Plunkett. We are going to go to St. Oliver Plunkett's house. As you can see, is the live chat up and running as well, make sure everything's up there. So we are going to go to St. Oliver Plunkett's. Hello Carpy Chris, how are you doing? Say hello to Carpy Chris.
Hello Carpy Chris.
Say how are you doing?
How you doing?
It's a beautiful time, it's a beautiful day in Ireland.
It's a beautiful day in Ireland.
What's it doing in Ireland today? It's?
Pissing.
Pissing?
Lash.
So it's lashing. So we do apologise for any convenience caused for last time. Let me show you the weather. What's it like? So we're going to show you what the weather's like. Let me show you what the weather's like. Let me know if Carpy, can you hear me on chat? Can you hear me? Just let me know if you can hear me speak. So that's the weather in Ireland at the moment. Look at that. Absolutely pissing down. Look at that. Absolutely, it's lashing. Absolutely lashing down altogether. It's absolutely lashing, and I mean it's pissing from the heavens, God forgive me. So we're in the church at the moment. This is the church, St. Oliver Plunkett's church, and what we like to do is we like to deliver to you. So here we go, it's St. Peter's Church. Welcome to St. Peter's Church, and I call it St. Oliver Plunkett's Church, and that is where we are at the moment. This is where we're located. It's a good single here, yeah, isn't it, Leah? Say hello to everybody. Yeah. Leah, have you to say, what would you like to say to everybody at home? How many people are we watching? How many have we? 1,000?
80.
Yeah. And what would you like to say to people?
Just please subscribe to Paranormal Tech.
So that is Leah. Say hello, Leah. Wave. Say hello. Good girl. So, we're going to make our way in here now. We're going to give you a guided tour of the place. But before we give you a guided tour of where we are, guys, Paranormal Talk Radio, how are you? That's Carpy Chris as well. So good evening to you all. So Carpy, that's Paranormal Radio, a lovely bloke. He does great live streams at home. So what we're going to do, we're going to deliver the story of St. Oliver Plunkett, okay? And one of the reasons why I want to deliver the story of St. Oliver Plunkett is I'm going to go to his residence next week on a live stream next Saturday night. It's a massive place, okay? So the story goes about St. Oliver Plunkett, okay? Now we're going to bring you through it, but St. Oliver Plunkett was one of the archbishops, one of the highest archbishops in the land in Ireland back many, many years ago. But when the times were bad in Ireland, St. Oliver Plunkett, believe it or not, was going around teaching the priesthood in the Republic of Ireland, and he helped the poor and he helped the Protestants and the Catholic people. He created churches and chapels and schools. This man was a very, very important man in Ireland. He kept the priesthood going at the time when times are bad. But there was a warrant out for St. Oliver Plunkett's. There's a warrant out for St. Oliver Plunkett, and St. Oliver Plunkett was on the run for a while, and he was running mostly in around Louth in County in Ireland on the run. And at the end of the clip, the video you seen, that was St. Oliver Plunkett's house. And unfortunately, Oliver Plunkett Oliver Plunkett actually dressed up as an army man as well in a suit. He had a big sword on his side, and he was trucking around with horses as well. He was like one of the troops as well. So he did that as well. So he tried not to be captured, but he was captured, and he was brought to Dublin, and he was put into a cell, and the people of Ireland sent him over to England to be trialed. And when he was brought over to England, he was tried, right? But he was slaughtered, he was brutally bet up, and then what they did is that they hung Oliver Plunkett, and then they cut off his head and they put him into a fire and burnt him. and the people of Ireland and England went into the fire and got the bones and his head and sent it back to Ireland to the people where he belonged. So, but Oliver Plunkett people said he wasn't a saint, and I'm telling you he was a saint, because he created the chapels in Ireland to keep going, and he did wonders work for Ireland. St Oliver Plunkett did, and when St Oliver Plunkett, he created churches and schools. He helped the Protestant and the Catholic people as well. So one of the reasons what I want to do in here today is I want to bring you into the church of St Oliver Plunkett, and I want to show you the head of St Oliver Plunkett that is laid on display here in this chapel in here, and some of the stories of St Oliver Plunkett as well. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. So Leah, say hello to everybody.
Hello.
So I brought Leah on the tour today. So I'm asking for everybody's help as well. Why are we doing this? We're sitting at 1,081 subscribers. And if there's Dale, say hello to Dale. Say hello to Dale.
Hello, Dale.
Say hi, Dale.
Hi, Dale.
So we're asking everybody for your help. We're sitting at 1,081 subscribers. I'm asking to help. Can we get it up to 1,100 before we go live tomorrow night in Clyde Courthouse? We need to try and get up to 1,100 subscribers to allow for any trolls. So Dale, if you know any of your friends or anybody's watching now, there's 5 people watching, even if you only got 1 person to subscribe, that'll bring it up to 1,086 subscribers. So if you can help us. So where we're today, we're in St. Peter's Church. St. Peter's Church in Drogheda. And this is where the head of St Oliver Plunkett is displayed for the people of the world to come and look at, and there's a storyline as well of St Oliver Plunkett. So let's bring you to it. Let me knock off this light here, and it's absolutely pissing down in Ireland as well today, absolutely freezing. So let me show you this before we bring you into the church. Let me turn around the camera. If we could turn around the camera, it's absolutely lashing down. So when you turn around, see, going to turn around this camera. There you go. So it's absolutely lashing down. So this is some of the chapel that we have. We're treating we get outside from most of it. So this is the chapel here. We're outside it, and we're just about to go inside it now. I don't want to go outside because it is absolutely lashing. So Leah, freezing here in Canada too. Yeah, it's absolutely lashing. Look at that. Absolutely lashing. I'd love to bring you around the town to show you as well. But hello to everybody in chat. We'll get chatting to you now a minute. We're going to try and be quiet now.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring you to Oliver Plunkett. Are you ready, Leah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So here we go. So this is his church, the chapel of St. Peter's Church in Drogheda. So we're going to bring you through it first as much as we can and show you some of the beautiful photographs. Lee, do you want to sit down there for a minute, or do you want to walk after me? Alright, so we're going to give you a guided tour of the place first, okay? So here we go. We're going to try and bring you through as much as we can and show you the lovely surroundings here. And there's Oliver Cromwell's spirit that follows me. So look at that beautiful photograph there. I'm just going to try and bring you through as much as we can. And I don't know what's in there. It's all locked up, I know whatever is in there. Some kind of a holy well. So we'll bring you through as much as we can. Hello, Anne Reeds. Say hello to Anne Reeds.
Hello, Anne Marie.
Say how you doing.
How are you doing?
So what we're doing, we're going to try and bring you as much as we can, guys. So look at that beautiful photograph up there. Isn't that fantastic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, absolutely fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful church. We're actually sitting in St. Peter's Church in Drogheda. So we're going to bring you through it first as much as we can, and then we're going to bring you through Oliver Plunkett's story in here. So Oliver Plunkett's head and some of his remains were brought back here to this church here. So we're going to bring you through it as best as we can. Oh, people were asking, can we do any spirit boxes here? We're not going to do much spirit box sessions in here, guys. But what we're going to try and bring you the story of St. Oliver Plunkett. We have the church to ourselves. It's a beautiful church it is. So this is live from Republic of Ireland. And what a beautiful church it is, isn't it, Leah? Absolutely, look at that. Absolutely beautiful church. And look at that. And look at the beautiful roof as well. Absolutely fantastic. Look at that. We're going to try and bring as much as we can to you guys, show it to you. We're going to try and give you as much as the tour of St. Peter's Church. And so, we'll try and bring as much as we can to show you guys. Coverage is absolutely fantastic, thanks to God.
Because you thought it was going to be fun.
So we're just going to bring you through as much. There's a lot of lead in there to make lead making up there. So there's plenty of lead on that roof, Phil. Yeah. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic. So we have the whole church to ourselves, Leah. There's nobody here, only us and the spirits. And he's laughing, look. So we're in St. Oliver Plunkets. So this is the story of St. Oliver Plunkets. So let's bring the camera around to us.
Yeah.
Let's see, can we get the camera turned on? So that is St. Peter's Church. We give you a quick guided tour of the place. So what I want to do now next, I want to bring you through the history of St. Oliver Plunket. And one of the reasons what I want to do is bring the history of St. Oliver Plunket to you guys is that I will be doing a paranormal investigation here. Not here, but in St. Oliver Plunket's house himself. I will be going to St. Oliver Plunket's family home to give you the history of St. Oliver Plunket. There's no point me, guys, doing a paranormal investigation and explain to you who Oliver Plunkett is until I deliver some of the story that you know who Oliver Plunkett is. So I'm going to turn around the camera in a couple of seconds, guys, and I'm going to deliver to you the message of St. Oliver Plunkett. I think St. Oliver Plunkett, in my views, was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man. What he did in Ireland, but unfortunately, the way things are gone, I have to look around and make sure there's no priest looking around. What I'm going to say next is what the priesthood is. Years ago, what they've done in Ireland, they have discriminated the priesthood, what they've done, and that is why a lot of people, youth today, don't really come to mass. Is what the priests have done in the past, and if you all know what I mean. And that's why they're lost, you know what I'm trying to say, like so. But anyway, we can move on to that. So how am I feeling today? I'm feeling okay. I was awful, very, very, very bad pains in my legs and up in my stomach last night. And I'm sorry, I do apologise for any convenience caused, but that's how it goes when you do get sick. You do get sick. So just after, so Leah says, what you say, Leah?
He had an operation.
So Leah said I had an operation. For the 10 people watching, before we start our St. Oliver Plunkett story, please like and share. Please tell your friends as well, guys. We're sitting at 1,081 subscribers. If you can tell one of your friends to subscribe to our channel, we'll try and get it up to 1,100 subscribers for Tuesday night's paranormal investigation. We are going to Clyde's Court House. So before we start, hello to Paranormal Voice. How are you doing? Gilligan, I think I said that right. And Reeds and Carpy Chris. For all the 11 people who are watching, hello to you all. And why we have the church quiet, let's get the story of Oliver Plunkett up and running because there's nobody in the church. So we have the whole church to ourselves, okay? So this is great, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around the light and we're going to try and deliver to you the best story ever live stream of St. Oliver Plunkett. I don't think many people did any live streams ever of St. Oliver Plunkett, but we're going to be one of the first. So sit back and enjoy what I'm going to try and deliver to you about St. Oliver Plunkett. Never get my name right. No, I'm sorry. And by the way, that was my fault that I took the little spanner away from you. So I apologise. I'm no good at computers. But I'll get your name by Gilligan, I think it is. Anyway, sorry. So anyway, if Caroline's watching, hello to everybody who's watching.
Hello, Mommy.
So we're going to deliver.
Hello, Mom.
Leah's with us, yeah. I brought Leah with us to this one because Leah wanted to do a paranormal investigation. So here we go. Let's try and deliver to you guys, and we'll show you that's the church before we finish. Oliver Plunkett, who was he? Here we go. So let's turn around the camera, and we can deliver the story about St. Oliver Plunkett. Right, St. Oliver Plunkett. There is a picture there of St. Oliver Plunkett. Okay, and you can see the story of St. Oliver Plunkett. Okay, and St. Oliver Plunkett. That is a photograph of St. Oliver Plunkett when he was captured in England, okay? And that is some of the storyline where someone painted a picture of him. And you can see the way he was dragged through the crowds of people and the way they dragged him, pulled him, and he was tortured before they hung him. You see the way he was tortured. Look at that photograph, guys. Just look into that photograph and you can see the way Oliver Plunkett was absolutely treated, the way he was, but back in the heyday. You can see that there, guys. Can you see that photograph, the way that has all been treated? Absolutely ashamed. And this is the door. I'm just going to show you this, guys. Here, there's a sign here, okay? This is the door of the cell of Newgrange Prison, where St. Oliver Plunkett was imprisoned for 8 months. Can you see that, guys? So I'm going to show you the gate. This is the door. So this is the door, okay? We're just going to show you the door back here. Just come back here, Leah. That is the door, okay? That is the door of the cell door of Newgate Prison, where St. Oliver Plunkett was imprisoned for 8 months before he was put in the tribunal in July the 1st, 1681, when St. Oliver Plunkett was brought to his imprisonment before. So you can picture when St. Oliver Plunkett was brought into justice. You can see him dragging there. There is the picture of St. Oliver Plunkett, okay? And when they captured him, when the Irish people captured St. Oliver Plunkett, he was brought into the prison at the Newgate Prison back in 1681, okay? Okay, 1681. And that is actually the door. That is actually the Newgate Prison door. That is the door where St. Oliver Plunkett. Now look at that. Look. You can even see the lock still. You can see the old lock. Well, this man was never getting out of this jail. And look at the big old bolt, guys, as well. Look at that big huge bolt. Look at the way it was, and look at the way can you see the way the hinges were made for the doors back in that time? Big huge steel bolts. Look at that. And you can see it here, guys. I'm going to come down here in my honkers. You can see the little gap here in the door, and that is where this is where they would have put the food into St. Oliver Plunkett. So they would have fired his food and drink into that small hole. So you can picture all the time St. Oliver Plunkett put his head out on that little door to get his drink. And we were feeding him that time. And he was imprisoned in Newgate Prison for 8 months back in 1681. And look at all the locks they had in it. Absolutely, there was a lock here, and there's another lock down here. They weren't letting this man go for some reason. And look at that big huge padlock there. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we'll move on to another bit of history of St. Oliver Plunkett. So we'll come in here, guys. You can see what's in here in this box here, guys, are some of the bones that were pulled out of the fire when St. Oliver Plunkett was brought to his we won't say justice, but when the people of the crowd jumped in and pulled his remains. That is some of the remains. That is some of the remains of St. Oliver Plunkett in this casket here today. And some of the people that back in the heyday, back in the 1600s, when they went into the fire, they got his head and got some of his body's parts out, and they sent them back to Ireland. So that is one of the parts of St. Oliver Plunkett's bones. It looks like a part of his hip, to be honest with you. And that is one of the bones, and it's actually they're kept in a little case like this, and that's 100% bones from St. Oliver Plunkett. You can see it there, guys. Look at that. So we're going to move on, and St. Oliver's prayers. You can see there's a book there, €6. St. Oliver Plunkett. You can see it there, guys. And we're going to move it on here, and we're just going to show you what it's all about. We're just going to move it all the way around here. And that is some of the St. Oliver Plunkett. I can't actually read that right to read it out to you. So we're going to move on slowly, okay? We're going to move back here slowly. And I'm going to point it up here, right all the way up here, guys, to this big, huge photograph here. And you can see the St. Oliver Plunkett's photograph up there. He was probably one of the most highest archbishops in the land back in the 1600s. You can see it there. And that is the picture of St. Oliver Plunkett. Goes right all the way up there. So that is the picture of St. Oliver Plunkett there. So you can see it there. So it says St. Oliver Plunkett by John Pope II, 12th of October 1975. It's written on that plaque there. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Let me see. Can I zoom into that? Let me see. Can I zoom into that plaque so you can see it? Can I do it? I might be able to do it for you guys. So if you can see that there, guys, I'm not the best at recording, but I'll try and get a bit more for you. There you go. I just hope that helped out some a bit. So that's another story of St. Oliver Plunkett. So there's another one here, the priest of St. Oliver Plunkett. So we're going to see a little story here. So the little picture here, and you can see Oliver Plunkett here on the boat here. It says Oliver Plunkett leaving Ireland in 1647 with, I think, the papal, I don't know what that, and father or something, to study the priesthood in Rome. He was ordained a priest on the 1st of January back in 1654. So you can see it, there's a little picture of him there. And coming back here, and there is the storyline of him there. There you can see that there, guys. St. Oliver leaving Ireland back in 1647 with a papal. You can see the father, you can see it there. I'm just going to try and get into that right in there. So studied for the priesthood in Rome and ordained a priest in the 1st of January back in 1654. So we'll move on to the next one. Here's our second photograph there. You can see Oliver is the name of my son. So there's Oliver Plunkett there coming off the boat there. You can see all the people greeting him. So Oliver arrives back in Ireland. So we'll come back in here. Oliver arrives back in Ireland as a bishop on the 6th of March 1670 to rebuild a broken church. You can see that there, guys? See, so Oliver arrives back in Ireland as a bishop on the 6th of March 1670 to rebuild a broken church. You can see it there. So he left in 1647 and he came back in 1670. So back in the time, St. Oliver Plunkett, that's what he did. So here's another photograph here. You move into this one here. You can see Oliver Plunkett here, right? You can see Oliver Plunkett here, and you can see here what he did, what they're trying to explain to the people at home, okay? The picture here of St. Oliver Plunkett, and you can see him in a classroom, okay? And you can see all the pictures of all the folks and the kids and all that dressed up here. But what he did here, St. Oliver Plunkett, he actually went around teaching kids, Protestant and Catholic people from all over Ireland. He helped the poor and he helped everybody to understand the meaning of life, of the following of Jesus Christ. And what he did, he actually supported the kids in Ireland. And not only did he support the kids of Ireland, St. Oliver Plunkett, but what he did is also he built schools, churches. He did so much for Ireland back in them times that he tried to rebuild Ireland back the way it should have been. And St. Oliver Plunkett did it. So we're just going to show you that as well. Oliver opens his first school in July 1670 at Drogheda for young people. You can see it there. An ordained priest was both Catholic and Protestant, and they were all taught together. Ireland's earliest. You can see it. So that is it there. So I'm just going to turn that back to me so you can see where we're going with it. So what we're trying to tell you with this little story, what we're trying to tell you is that when Oliver Plunkett came back as Archbishop, he came back to rebuild Ireland back in the 1600s. And what he did is, so I'll just go back to this photograph here so you can see it. So what he did do is, let me see, can we get it? So what he did do is, he created schools, he built churches, he built everything to get the people of Ireland back up and running again. He actually rebuilt Ireland, St. Oliver Plunkett did. Not many people do remember that, and not many people. We're trying to, for history and geography, to let people know that St. Oliver Plunkett, he was a remarkable man, and to my eyes, he was. If people says he wasn't a saint, to me he was a saint, because what he did, he rebuilt Ireland. He helped the poor, he helped the Catholic and the Protestants. He built schools, he built churches, he educated people. He even ordained priests as well, and that's what he did in his heyday. So that you can see there, that is some of the story there. Plunkett, he opens his first school in Drogheda, that's where we are now, back in 1670 at Drogheda for young people. An ordained priest was both Catholic and Protestant. They were all taught together. So Oliver Plunkett didn't care who you are or what you are. He treated everybody the same. He was a wonderful man. So let's turn around and continue the story. So I'm hoping you're enjoying it so far. So let's turn it around. There, Leah. So we have another story. So Oliver Plunkett. Then what happened is there was a request out for Oliver Plunkett to come back. So Oliver is back in 1681. He was a victim of the English Parliament and for the Catholic faith. So the English Parliament, let me try and get this straight. So the English Parliament sent a request out for the arrest of Oliver Plunkett as what he did. Okay, so let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. I'm just trying to flick this around here. So the English Parliament, okay, back in its heyday, right? The English Parliament back in its heyday put a request out for Oliver Plunkett to be arrested. Or for what? For teaching and preaching the priesthood and building churches and schools and helping the poor. Something was off around back in them times. Because why was the people of Ireland let this happen for Oliver Plunkett to be sent to England, okay, to the English Parliament to deal with the situation of Oliver Plunkett teaching the priesthood and rebuilding schools and rebuilding churches and ordaining priests and that crack. So the English Parliament sent out, you can see it here, the English Parliament sent out a request for Oliver Plunkett to be arrested. So the Irish people holded him. Remember back the story back here, back at the gate, back at the door. So the Irish people holded him. We'll just go back. We're just going to skip back. We're just going to reverse. So the Irish people, right, searched out for Oliver Plunkett back in 1681. Okay, so the Irish people sent back. They eventually caught Oliver Plunkett back in 1681. Okay. Just try and get this picture in your head. So what this man did, he left Ireland to go to Rome to be ordained an archbishop. He came back, built schools, built churches, helped the poor, teach all the kids the difference between right and wrong, Catholic and Protestant. Doesn't matter who you are, he treated everybody the same. So the English Parliament sent a request out for Oliver Plunkett's head. So the Irish people, back in them days, sent him to the prison of Newgate prison back in 1681. That is the door when they imprisoned him. We showed you that a few minutes ago. So when the English Parliament, when the Irish people surrendered him over to the English Parliament back in that year, they hung St. Oliver Plunkett. And before they hung St. Oliver Plunkett, okay, remember this, before they hung St. Oliver Plunkett, they actually dragged him through dirt, muck, stones, and actually battered him to death first before even they hung him, okay? He was put to trial, okay, when he was in the English Parliament, he put to trial. But before they got Oliver Plunkett, before they got him, they bet him, kicked him, dragged him through bushes. They bet him to death nearly. And I'm going to show you that photograph again. Let's turn that around again. We'll show you that photograph of him being dragged and punched and kicked. So let's turn that around. Come on, turn around, you devil, yeah. So let's turn that around there. So that is it. It's there. And I'm actually going to zoom into it, okay? Let's try and zoom into it, okay? Let's try and zoom in there now so you can see it. Okay. So you can see the picture there, right, where he was dragged and pulled and kicked and flaked. Oh, absolutely unbelievable. He was absolutely hammered. And yes, I'm going to agree with someone there. Yes, I am going to agree. I blame Oliver Cromwell for half of this as well. And Oliver Cromwell's spirit, believe it or not, is following me. There's some bloody spirit following me because that green flash is following me since we did Oliver Cromwell. And we are going to go back and to do Oliver Cromwell, and we're going to finish off Oliver Cromwell's investigation. But 2 seconds, Leah. So we're going to go back to the history. So you kind of guess what I'm trying to tell you about the history of St. Oliver Plunkett. So we'll just go back here. Let's go back here, guys. So Oliver, I said that, yeah. Gilligan said I said that. That was Cromwell's fault. How are you doing? Are you well? So if you can see it here, this is Oliver Plunkett here, and you can see what happened here. You can see the English Parliament and the rope hanging down here, and what they did, they hung him. That's what they did. But not only that, the English Parliament were so bad at the time. Okay, you can picture look at this little grave story that time and when they hung him. So to make it worse, okay, let's finish it off here now. We'll come back here now again. So to make it worse, okay, so we're doing a history of St. Plunkett. We're going to do a paranormal investigation of St. Oliver Plunkett next week. But what I want to do, I want to deliver you the story of St. Oliver Plunkett my way. before I do any investigations in his home house. And when I do the investigation next week, I want to show you the story. But I like to tell you the story as well before we go, so you understand what I do. Okay, so we brought you through the history so far, roughly, right? So when Oliver Plunkett was hung, okay, when Oliver Plunkett was hung, not only did they batter him, kick him, flake him to his death nearly, then what they did when they hung him, not only that, they lit a fire, okay, and they threw his body into the fire, okay. And I actually think they beheaded him as well, because his head is here. And they threw him into the fire. And the people of Ireland and Britain at the time, okay, they went ahead of the English Parliament and they took out his remains out of the fire, okay, and they sent them back here to Ireland. Eventually, they got here many years later. You've seen there's the remains of his body in one of the cases here, and they sent his head. The story goes that I can't remember where I got it, but a woman jumped into the fire and took Oliver Plunkett's head out of the fire and wrapped it up in a towel and kept it to safe keeping until eventually they got it back to Ireland. And this head is sitting here in this church, and I'm going to show it to you now in a second. So I'm hoping you're enjoying it. So the 21 people, please support Paranormal Take. We do things differently compared to any other paranormal investigation. I like to show a bit of history as well, and then we'll go like to do paranormal investigations. So there's 20 people watching. If you have one friend at home that might subscribe to the channel, that's 40 extra subs that we can get. So please support Paranormal Tech. We're sitting at 1,081 subscribers, and if you can help us move up, we do appreciate it. So let's move on to our next part of the story of Oliver Plunkett. So we're going to move on here now, guys. So we just turn around this camera right here. So this is the banner of Saint Oliver Plunkett. I'm calling him the saint. Some people call him not a saint, some people do. I'm calling him the Saint Oliver Plunkett. You can see there. So when he was sent to Rome and he was ordained an Archbishop of Ireland, and then he came back and he rebuilt Ireland. I blame Oliver Cromwell for his death, believe it or not. That's who I believe back in the time. So we're going to move on. And we're going to move on to this thing. Let's hope it's on. So there's a little box when you come in here, and it gives you all the history and all the tales. It gives you an education here. Early life in Rome. This tells you all the history of Oliver Plunkett. So let's go back in here. We'll go back into this machine here. So let's watch this. So this little yoke tells you bits of stories. So we're just going to go back. So it's a little book that's inside here, so people can go into the education and learn about Saint Oliver Plunkett. So there's so many different things you can do, and it tells you when he returned back to Ireland. It's kind of when people come in here and they don't know it, and it just tells you a little story, a little map about Ireland, and it tells everybody who wants to know about Oliver Plunkett. This device here, just come in and press it. And it tells you little stories, priest in Rome, Archbishop St. Oliver Plunkett. Just gives you all the little details about it when you come into the church. It gives you the history of it. There's that green flash. So that's roughly what it is. So what that so we're just going to turn the camera back to ourselves, guys, so you can see us again. So roughly, when you come here to Drogheda, and you see this little machine here, press the button here. It gives you all the history of Saint Oliver Plunkett. So just come in, press this device here, tell you the stories when he was ordained in Rome, when he came back to Ireland, when he left Ireland to come back, and he went to Rome to learn more about the priesthood. He left Rome in 1654, and he arrived back into Ireland then back in 1670 as Archbishop of Ireland, and he created Ireland back again. He rebuilt Ireland. He built the schools and churches and everything. So you understand exactly where we're coming from. So you can understand Oliver Cromwell. When Oliver Cromwell invaded Ireland back in the 1600s as well, he was. Well, just 1 second, get rid of that. So Oliver Cromwell was out to get revenge. So in other words, the people of the English Parliament did not like the way things were run back in Ireland back in the 1600s. Gilligan said he would have hung me as well as a witch. So what we're going to do is now we're going to show you Oliver Cromwell's remains of his head is in a little casket here. We're going to show you now in a couple of seconds. Just a few people. You can sit. Oh yeah, sorry. You can sit down there, Leah, good girl. So we're just going to sit here myself and Leah for a few minutes. Just wait for the people to take a look. So we're going to sit down here for a minute. Leah, do you want to say hello to anybody here? Come on, just come on, come say hello to everyone. Come on.
Hello, coffee quick.
Yeah, how are you say? Anything else? No?
No.
So I brought Leah today on an investigation because Leah says I don't bring her. So I brought Leah on this one. Caroline's gone shopping. So far, can you understand, everybody at home, what I'm trying to explain to you about St. Oliver Plunkett? When I say the word saint, people say, well, he wasn't a saint, but in my eyes, Oliver Plunkett was a saint because he left Ireland in the very, 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 very bad times, and he went over to Rome to be ordained an archbishop, and he came back to Ireland and rebuilt Ireland. He built schools, he built churches, he helped the President and the Catholic people, and he supported every youth on his footpath. And in the Parliament of England back in the 1681s, back in the Oliver Cromwell time, there was an award out for St. Oliver Plunkett to be prosecuted. So the Irish people Parliament sent him over to the English Parliament back in London, and you know the story. I've just have to explain to you, but I like to explain everybody as well. Hello, Stephen Kine. He's probably hiding behind a 4x2. He's at work, and he said he'd try and sneak in this live stream. So hello, Stephen. You're very welcome. He's probably hiding behind a bale of timber. He's supposed to be working now, but he's hiding. He's probably in the toilets hiding somewhere. So hello to everybody who's watching. So we're going to show you Oliver Plunkett's head now in 2 seconds. Just waiting for the people here. So hello to everybody. So make sure you stay on, guys, to the very end. We have a few more. We want to finish off this. So you can understand what I'm trying to say to you guys is when we go and do our paranormal investigation live next Saturday night in Oliver Plunkett's family residence known as Louth Hall. I want to explain the history, what we're looking for when we're doing our paranormal investigation. So are you all ready now to see the head of St. Oliver Plunkett? Yeah, so let's turn around the camera and we'll show you where his head is now. So we're going to turn up the light as well. So you're going to sit there, Leah, you can sit down there for a minute. So we're going to bring you over to this case here. Okay, this is the case here where his head is located and stored for protecting. So we're going to turn down the light just in case we don't need it. So St. Peter's Church, Drogheda, pray for us, as you can see it there. So let's try and go in here and maybe knock off this light. Maybe you might see it a bit better. So we're going to go in here like this, and then we're going to try and see can we get as close to that head as we can, so you can see else. And we try and turn down the light as well if we can get it. Can you see it there, guys? If we try and get in a bit closer, guys, you might be able to see it. Maybe try and turn down the light another bit. Maybe like this. We'll try and get it. Try and zoom in there, guys, as best you can, and you can have a good look at it. And you can see the teeth of him as well. You can see the way he was grinding there, guys, before he was hung. Can you see that there, guys? We'll try and get as best as we can, guys, for you. So I think that's actually a good photograph there for you guys. That is the head of St. Oliver Plunkett. So we're just going to show you. So that is where his head is at the moment. I'm just going to try and show you the case where it is located. So there is kind of Latin there. I can't understand what that is. It says Elizabeth. There's some story place. I can't understand it. But you can even see his ear. Look, if I can see it, you can even see the man's ear as well. Look at that. You can see the ear inside the way his jaw is. You can see it there, guys. Yeah, you can see it there. Look. So we just go around the whole lot, guys, and we'll just show you where it is. And this is the back of the case where it is located. So just go right around it. And we'll bring you to this side of it now. And you can see on the left hand side of his face is where he got. And you can even see, I can even see, yeah, I can even see it here, guys, as well. I'm just gonna, I can see better than you guys. And you can see his neck was definitely not deheaded. It was hung. His head was definitely hung. I don't know if you can see it there, guys. You can see it there. Going what I'm thinking, what I'm looking at, guys. I'm just going to turn it that way. I'm looking at his head, and the left side of his face got an awful doing, the creature. And he definitely wasn't deheaded. He was hung. You can see where his head snapped off the rope. You can see it. And his left ear was burnt where he was in the fire. You can see it. His left ear was in the fire. Definitely was burnt, and the way they pulled him out. So let's come around here and that again. Let's try and show you that again, guys. So that is Oliver Plunkett's head. Do an EVP, Philip? No, I'm not going to do an EVP here because I don't need to. Because when I come here to this place here, guys, okay, let me show you guys. Let me bring this back here. Okay, let me turn this around here again. So I was going to bring the spirit box here, but I won't disrespect the priesthood. But by me coming in here today, here's Leah waving in the background. By me coming in here today and delivering to you St. Oliver Plunkets, right? When I'm showing the head of him, right? I'm picking up loads of sensitivity. I know it when I do come here. I feel the warmth come across my chest. Okay, I do feel the warmth. I feel a lovely warmth across my chest. And when I do, how do they present his head? How did they present his head? His head is presented. Come on the right earlier. His head is actually presented in a golden chalice. And it's in glass, and it's protected from another golden chalice outside it. But some people says that Oliver Plunkett's head was it was cut off. It was definitely, I can tell you now, 100%. His head was definitely not dehabitated. He was hung. You can see the bone of his neck where when they hung him, it broke off. That they probably hung him there for ages, and it broke off. You can see the bone where it broke off. The bone is still on the neck, and his left hand side of the ear is all melted in where he was thrown in the fire, but the right hand side of the face is 100% legit. And I'm just going to show you one more time. Okay, try and zoom into it one more time. There's definitely, I feel there's something here because I feel an awful warmth coming around across my chest. And when I do this, when I do investigations like this, when I come out and show you the history before I go and do my paranormal investigation, I guarantee you something, I will pick up something that they'll always show their respect. The spirits will always show their way, respect in some way. So when I go out and do my paranormal investigation, you'll get church bells, or I'll get priests will come through, or I'll get something, and that's their way of showing it. Let's try and zoom in one more time to show you guys, okay? Philip is right, show respect. So I want to show respect. I don't like to do. Now, wait, just let me come back to that a second. I'm not the holiest person in the world, even though I was brought up in Ireland. Everybody thinks just because I'm from Ireland I'm a holy saint. I'm not. I don't go Sunday to Sunday. I only go to mass if someone died. I'll go to christening, I'll go to communion or confirmation or wedding. That is it. I stopped. I have to look around again. I stopped coming to mass many years ago. Is because what happened in the priesthood back in the 80s and 90s, what priests have done in Ireland, and a lot of cases are still ongoing. So I don't want to say it in front of Leah, if you know what I mean. So I lost the trust in the priesthood. Some priests are fantastic, but I lost the trust in the priesthood. So that's my say of that. So I'm going to turn it around here now to this. So I'm going to turn around the camera to this here. So yeah, just 2 seconds, Leah. So what I want to do is, I'm going to try and show you this one more time because you're not going to see this anywhere. You can go on YouTube, you can look up St. Oliver Plunkett, you can look up St. Oliver Plunkett, and you can look up video. You're going to see nobody doing a live stream what I'm doing. So I'm just going to zoom in, show you his teeth. Look at the teeth where he was grinding there, guys. Can you see his teeth where he was grinding? You can see the structure of his face. Can you see that, guys? Absolutely amazing, isn't it? Amazing. That's the closest that you're going to get to a paranormal investigation of somebody, of a saint. Trust me on that one. Can you see that? My partner was a victim in that scandal. We'll get that half hour needs again. Can you see that, guys? Look at that. Look at the teeth. Look at the teeth grinding there, guys. Absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do is I want to bring you in this side, okay? And I want to show you what I can see. I'm hoping you can see it there, guys. Now, can you see there very carefully, guys? That is his left ear. You can see the way it's all been saturated and burnt. And his left-hand side of the face got really hammered. But there, guys, there's the bottom of his neck. If you look very, very carefully at that, guys, that you can see where he's where he broke his neck. There's Caroline back in chat. Hello, Caroline. So we'll just bring you one more time. There's Oliver Cromwell. Follow me as well. So look at the teeth. And look at that. I'll try and get a bit more closer. His teeth are still there today. Look at that. And that is even. Now look at the eyes as well. Look. So Carpy, Chris, if you're watching, there's some great photographs here for you to make a trailer for next Saturday night for Oliver Plunkett's house. So that is it, and that is where it is at the moment, guys. It's in a casket. So let's bring it in. We'll show you the casket. So the casket is like so. And there it is, come around like that. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to turn it over here. We'll get chatting to you in a few minutes. So for all the people, there's 22 people watching. I'm going to send you something that nobody's ever done on a live stream. I'm going to send you a bit of luck, okay? And what I'm going to do is, guys, I'm going to send you a bit of luck from Ireland. And these, I'm going to light 2 candles in remark of respect for the 22 people who are watching. I'm going to light a candle in remark of everybody's watching. And I wish you the best of luck, guys. And I'm going to send a bit of respect. So I'm going to light a candle for everybody who's watching today. So everybody who's watched this live stream, I'm sending you love, joy and respect. Please support Paranormal Tech. Please ask your friends to subscribe to the channel. And we send you best wishes and loves. Okay, so we're just going to do that, guys. And we have sent you a message. So I've light your candles here, guys. There's 2 candles here lit for everybody who has joined our live stream tonight. And I wish you peace, joy and happiness, guys. Okay, and that's from me and Caroline. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give you one more look around the place now, so you understand the history of Oliver Plunkett. We delivered to you the best we could. So before we go, let's give you one more lap of the place. Okay, so let's turn it around. So let's give you one more guided tour of the place. So, and here's your candles, guys. Okay, so there's your candles that we lit for the 21 people that are watching. Leah, would you like to say anything to anybody? No?
Hello, Marty. Martin.
Matty, UK?
Yeah.
Carpy, Chris?
Yeah.
Anne Reed?
Hello.
Gilligan?
Mommy, what did you get me?
That's all he's interested in. So that is the story. Let's bring you through it. There is Oliver Cromwell. Follow me. So we're just going to bring it as much as we can. There is St. Oliver Plunkett. So we're just going to bring you through it. So we brought you through the. Let's finish it off like this way. So we brought you through Oliver Cromwell in 1681, the victim of the English Parliament, where he was hung. That was the story that we brought you through. That in 1670. Oliver Plunkett. What was that?
What?
Shh, don't move, Leah. Don't move. Shh, shh, shh. That was something weird. I was just explaining about Oliver Plunkett's opened the school here, and I heard. Don't move. I just heard like if someone was sitting, you know, like you hear someone sitting in a chair and you hear the creak of a chair sitting. It's like if someone took a seat. Like if someone just after taking a seat there. Swear to God. So anyway, we'll go back to this again. So Oliver opened his first school back in 1670 at Drogheda to teach people all to teach them the Irish and the English, and he opened up loads and loads of schools back in 1670. He opened schools, he built churches, he did everything. This man did. He did a wonderful job, but the English Parliament did not like what he was doing, and that's why they hung and bet him, and they didn't want him to. I blame Oliver Cromwell for it. So there's another one back in 1670 when Oliver Plunkett arrived back as Archbishop of Ireland. So he went to Rome as a priest, and he came back as an archbishop. There's a picture of him coming off the boat. There's that green flash again. And here's another one in 1647 when Oliver Plunkett left Ireland to go to Rome to be a priest the 1st of January in 1654, but he came back in 1670, not only but a priest, but he came back as an archbishop. So we're just going to bring you back to this one here as well. And there is some of the remains of Oliver Plunkett. There are some of his bones that were taken from the fire and brought back to Ireland. So I think there is a few more, but I don't think they're on display. But that is some of the bones of Oliver Plunkett in that casket. And here is the door again, which show you the door here as well. That is the door of the New Grange prison of Saint Oliver Plunkett. So so I am right. You can see there's Saint Oliver Plunkett. See, there you go, Saint Oliver Plunkett. So that is the door when the English Parliament put him taken him out. That is the door where Saint Oliver Plunkett was in for 6 months in 1681. Saint Oliver Plunkett was in prison in Dublin. For 8 months he was in prison for. In July the 1st, he was in July the 1st, 1681, he was imprisoned. And that is actually the gate, the door that he was imprisoned in. So let's move on away from that. So that is roughly the story of Oliver Plunkett. So we're just going to give you a last guided tour of the place before we finish up. So, and then we get leave the last day. So this is St. Peter's Church in Drogheda. And the reason why this is the town St. Oliver Plunkett started to preach the priesthood and bring everything back to life and teach people of Ireland the education, and he did everything for the people of Ireland, and that's why his remains are lying here today in St. Peter's Church in Drogheda, because this is where it all started. And believe it or not, this is where it all started with Oliver Cromwell. Where Oliver Cromwell invaded Ireland back in the 1600s, where he did awful things to Ireland in 6 months. And even to this day, 6 months later, 6 months Oliver Cromwell invaded Ireland, and for what he did in Ireland, it still remains today. So here's just a few priests' names here. Father Thomas Kelly, 1832 to 1835. Father Richard, 1787 to 1818. Patrick Curtin, is it? 1819 to 1832. And there's some of the priests' names that are on the church. We have another one here as well. We'll try and do as much as we can before we finish. 1866 to 1873, Father Tierney. So there's a load of priests here. And we have another one now down here as well. And we'll have a look at this one. And 1873 to 1879. So that is another one as well. So we're just going to try and show you as much as we can of this beautiful church here in St. Peter's Church in Drogheda. So we're just going to try and show you as much as we can before we leave. Try and show you as much as we can before we leave. And that is the church of St. Peter's Church in Republic of Ireland in Drogheda. And this is where it all started for Oliver Cromwell and what else, Leah? And St. Oliver Plunkett. So we're nearly at the end of it now. We're just going to bring you to an area here, and I'm not ignoring chat. I'm just trying to show you as much as I can, because nobody's ever done a right live stream of St. Oliver Plunkett. So I ain't that the holiest person in the world, but I just want to try and show you what it is here. And that is no idea what that is. No idea. It's some kind of a symbol they used to wear, I suppose. Saint Helen, the finder of the cross. There it is, Saint Helen, the finder of the cross. The true the true cross of Richard. Oh, so this is the true red cross. This is the true cross of Richard. So that is the true red cross of Richard is written there. And there's Saint Oliver Plunkett. There you go, Saint Oliver Plunkett. Alright, so what they're saying here is that Saint Oliver Plunkett wore this red cross on him. So it's some kind of a medal that he wore on as an archbishop. So that is what he wore. So it's called the relic of the true cross. See it there? It's gonna, so if you want to zoom in there and read it yourselves, guys. So that was it. And there's St. Patrick himself. How are you getting on? How's your father? There it is. So St. Patrick, Saint's Paint of Ireland. You can see it there. Keep the light of the true faith burning forever. There you go. That's St. Patrick himself. What do you think of St. Patrick?
Weird.
Leah said weird. Right, so we're going to move down here, guys. And we're going to finish it off here at St. Oliver Plunkett. And we'll get Leah to say goodbye. We'll get say bye to myself. So we hope you enjoyed it. Move down here and we'll finish it off down here. And we did an hour of it. So an hour of good education. We hope you enjoyed it. So before we move on, we're just going to move down to a little area down here where we sit down and come on over here, Leah. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. Now, how are you doing? Are you well? So you come here, Leah. Good girl. Now, we're just going to flick this back over. We try and turn the camera back over, guys. It'll come eventually. Now, we're going to turn it back here. Okay, before we leave, we'd like to thank everybody who watched us on our pre-story of St. Oliver Plunkett. We hope you enjoyed our history. We hope you enjoyed our live stream. And we met up. This is kind of a video for what happened last night. Unfortunately, when I got ill. I can't do anything about it. But we are going to do a follow-up of St. Oliver Plunkett next Saturday coming live at 8 o'clock. I am going to take you to St. Oliver Plunkett's house. It's a massive place. Big mansion. And there is a tower you can go up to. There is a place. 99% of it is all burned down. But there is a place where you can go to St. Oliver Plunkett's house and you can sit and you can do EVPs, you can do a paranormal, you can do loads of different things. I'll ring at 4. Phillips is Caroline. I have to pick Caroline up, she's gone shopping. So thank you very, very much for everybody. I hope you enjoyed the history of St. Oliver Plunkett. We hope you enjoyed it. It's something different. I hope you enjoyed his face in there as well. But please, there's 23 people watching. If you have a friend on Facebook, can you just please subscribe to the channel, and we try and get it up to 1,100 subscribers before we go live on Tuesday night. Tuesday night we are going to Clyde Courthouse Manor. That's Tuesday night. We are going to go back to that church, and we're going to see can we go back to live streaming it. If not, I am going to pre-record it. Caroline's father is going to mind Leah. So Granddad's going to mind you, and me and Caroline are going to go back and we're definitely going to go back to that chapel because it's very, very interested as well. So we hope you enjoy it. Hello to all the moderators. Hello to everybody that has joined us. Hello to Patricia McDowell. That would be Kevin. And hello Caroline as well. I am away, Philip. Ring you at 4, guys. But chat soon. Caroline's off shopping, by the way. And Digga. Hello to everyone. We do appreciate everybody watching. Don't we, Leah?
Yeah.
Every week we do something different, and we do enjoy it. So we hope you enjoyed. Hello Ben as well. So we hope you really enjoyed the history of Oliver Plunkett, and hello to Henry as well. So everybody, there's 22 people watching. If you all just got one friend extra, that's 22 extra people watching our channel. So just spread the word, guys. Let's see when I go home in an hour's time, see can we get 1,100 subscribers. Sitting at 1,080 subscribers, see can we get it up to 1,100 subscribers. So we are live Tuesday night. We will be live again on Thursday night. No, sorry, we'll be live Tuesday night. We're going to be live Wednesday night, and we're going to be live Saturday night, and that is because you guys are supporting us and we're trying to support back by giving you live investigations. But let's hope that the coverage will be okay for Tuesday night. We're going to have to do an experiment, make sure it's 100 legit, and we get the coverage, because Clyde Courthouse is an amazing spot. And we are doing St. Oliver Plunkett's house on Saturday night. So the coverage, we know it there, is amazing. So I know that for a fact. So it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from Leah, and it's goodbye to everybody, and it's goodbye from Karen in chat. We hope you enjoyed it. Please like and share. That is the story of Oliver Plunkett. We hope you enjoyed it, and we see you live very, very soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much, everybody. God bless, and we see you soon. Goodbye.